The Democratic Alliance says it's going to the Gauteng High Court in its attempt to end the ANC's cadre deployment policy. It's revealed this during a screening of a documentary called Cadre Deployment, the story of state capture. Newzroom Afrika's Athi Mtongana is with the DA leader John Steenhuisen now, Athi, and this screening was basically meant to preempt the release of the latest volume of the state capture report, but we're now hearing that that's not going to happen tonight, and I wonder how Steenhuisen is feeling about it.
Yes, the timing was actually great in that they were expecting, like the rest of the country, expecting the handover, the official handover of that final State Capture Commission report over to the presidency. But of course, it's been actually a long time coming. They've actually been working on this documentary for quite some time. You may know typically that the DA has been quite vocal about cadre deployment within the ranks of the African National Congress. But I do have with me the DA's leader, John Steenhuisen, and I want him to give us quick reaction immediately with the delay to the handing over of this report to the president. We're also seeing reports of how the Chief Justice had to go take a call from the president. What do you make of all of these developments?
Well, I think it's a deeply unsatisfactory set of events. First of all, it appears certainly that the president and the Chief Justice have been talking together on this matter, and that the President may well be dealing with the determination of the timelines or the release of the report. This is problematic because this volume particularly will deal with some of the more controversial aspects of the ANC as a political party, including Mr. Ramaphosa's own role as chair of the Cadre Deployment Committee. I think it's deeply problematic that somebody who could well be the subject of the report is negotiating and deciding when this report should be released. I think what you need with these reports is to be seen to be completely impartial, and for it to be completely impartial. When you see the President's involvement in this particular matter and calling the Chief Justice and having a discussion about the timing of the release of the report, I think it starts to get people thinking around, well, why is this being done? What is the reason? I don't buy it because you didn't want errors and that in the report. These things are released electronically anyway, so if it was ready to be handed over tonight, it should have been in a format already. Why would you say you're ready if it's not in a format? Who really cares if the copy that's handed to the President is even a dummy copy? Release the thing electronically. We're all going to read it electronically. So I don't buy that argument, and I think it's left a deep suspicion in my mind that the timing of this is being massaged, which I think would be very problematic.
Now, into the issue that you were tackling today, this was, of course, ahead of what is no longer going to be handed over, the issue of cadre deployment in the ANC.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've released this documentary because we think it's important for people to join the dots about how this happened, where it began, and most importantly, what we need to do to make sure it doesn't happen again. And in the blur that is the South African media cycle, people often forget some of the key steps and stages along the way. And so what the documentary seeks to do is to set those out, the origin of cadre deployment, where it came from, how it was allowed to take root, and also now what steps we're taking as the official opposition to make sure that it's rooted out and doesn't happen again.
And some of those steps you mentioned, you're heading to the Gauteng High Court and also introducing a private member's bill.
So the private member's bill is before Parliament. It's the end cadre deployment bill, which will end cadre deployment as we know it for any political party that's ever in power at a local, provincial or national level. The second action that we're taking is approaching the North Gauteng High Court to challenge the constitutionality of the policy of cadre deployment. If we can get it declared unconstitutional, it would mean that no party is ever able to use cadre deployment to pack the civil service with people who are there on the basis of their loyalty to the party or party members over their ability to serve the people of the Republic.
The DA in the Western Cape has also been accused by opposition parties like the ANC, saying that you're preaching against cadre deployment, but you have been seen to be accused in some instances at provincial government of putting in some of the people that are politically connected to the DA. What would you say to those allegations?
Well, obviously people have to prove those allegations. I mean, we certainly don't have a cadre deployment committee in the DA. I would know about it as the leader if there was a cadre deployment committee. There is no decision. Obviously, people are unhappy with some appointments in governments will challenge those appointments. But just like we've seen with the allegations made against the HOD of Environment's appointment, that it is not borne out by the truth. The reality is he's not related to either the MEC or to the head of the department. So he was a normal applicant. So if people want to make the allegations, they must come with the proof. We have the proof. The proof sits in terms of the minutes of the Cadre Deployment Committee that deployed people from municipal level to board level to government department level, even into the judiciary. People being chosen at those committees ahead of any formal process to ensure that they were interviewed.
In instances like that, what would you do as a party, because you preach against it?
Well, of course, where we have wrongdoing by any of our governments, we take action against it. I think we've got a good track record in this regard. It doesn't matter if you're a mayor, a speaker, an MEC. If you behave in a way that does not conform to our values of building a capable state, then you will be dealt with accordingly. And I think if we'd had the ANC adopting this approach right from the beginning, we wouldn't have got into nearly the mess that the South Africans got into.
John Stenese, thank you so much for your time. The leader of the DA reacting to the delay handover of the final State Capture Commission report to the presidency, and also giving us an insight as to the action that they'll be taking as an official opposition party against Cadre Deployment in the ANC. They'll be approaching the North Gauteng High Court, as well as also introducing a private member's bill in Parliament.
Athi Mtongana, thank you very much for that report from Cape